Montalvo Broadcasting Network. Support MBN, Montalvo Broadcasting Network, and shop with us over at Montalvo Store. Go to ebay.com and search in the advanced search. Type in Montalvo Store. Now support Montalvo Broadcasting Network. We have a wide array of books on conspiracy, apparel, and much more. Support your favorite radio station, Montalvo Broadcasting Network, by visiting Montalvo Store on ebay.com.
Tribal, primitive, rustic, Burning Man, punk rock, conceptual subculture for the edgiest, most cutting-edge designs of jewelry today. Go to etsy.com/shop/conceptual subculture, or one word, either by going to Google or search Etsy, ETSY.com, and type in one word, conceptual subculture. You will find the hottest designs using natural stones with wire wrap rings, rough, raw, genuine, semi-precious gemstone jewelry, solid sterling silver, copper, leather, orgonite, bracelets, pendants, chokers, men's copper cups with sterling accents, eco-friendly, repurposed, original, one-of-a-kind design earrings. Support MBN by going to Conceptual Subculture on Etsy. Go to Antique Obsessions for the hottest in jewelry, antiques, repurposed, solid sterling silver, one-of-a-kind, handmade by Bruce and Jaja. Go to our Facebook, which is Antique Obsessions, or you can go to Etsy.com and go to Antique Obsessions, one word, or type it into your Google and find us there. Thanks.
The stylish and hippest clothing around. Go to Poshmark.com. Poshmark.com at Anti-Culture. At Anti-Culture. The coolest, hippest apparel on the internet. Poshmark.com at Anti-Culture. Bruce Montalvo.
Continues to spread conspiracy theories.
Penchant for promoting bogus conspiracies as though they were fact.
About his conspiracy theory.
This is CNN, a network of China Broadcasting System.
Bruce Montalvo is the only radio talk show host that's not controlled. You're listening to the Bruce Montalvo Show.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's October 14th, 2019. You're listening to the Bruce Montalvo Show with Jaja. Hello, Jaja. And we have a very special guest on the line. She is a psychotherapist, intuitive healer, psychic medium. Her website is intuitivehealing.com. Intuitivehealing.com. Her name is Carolyn Coleridge. You may have seen her on CNN when they did a Reiki special, and I mean she's got counseling on how to heal the spirit, how to heal you, and she joins us here live. Hello, Carolyn.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for being on the show.
Sure. My website's intuitivesoulhealing.com.
I knew I was butchering something.
That's okay.
Intuitivesoulhealing.com. Thank you so much.
That's it. Yeah.
Right. You know, I take psychics very seriously. Not all of them, but I believe in some of them. I truly do. I believe in psychic intuition. I believe in psychics. I mean, psychics helped me find my wife. Psychic actually told me details about my wife and where we would be, where we would be traveling years before I met her. So it was crazy. And I also believe that I myself use psychic intuition to find my only daughter when I wasn't aware of her existence. So, I mean, I'm not trying to toot my horn here, but I totally believe in psychic abilities.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's a natural part of us. Psychic means of the soul, and psyche means of the mind. So it's just listening to the soul's, the way the soul hears, feels, sees, knows. That part of us is connected to the source. So we all have that ability. Just some people are tuned up higher, some people are lower. So that's great. It's wonderful. Stories about healing yourself and connecting to people. It's awesome.
Right.
What's one of the first ways you can open yourself up to increase your psychic abilities?
Meditation is the best way. In fact, my abilities have gotten stronger when I've meditated and taught meditation, because the more quiet you become, spirit lies between the space between our thoughts. And so when you're quiet, you're in that space of the other realm. Like when we meditate, we go up to the alpha state, which is like the fourth dimension, and we're able to then open up our senses to hear more. So you'll get those aha moments, those chills, those insights just plop in your head, those pings. And that's the way we should lead our lives and like figure things out. So meditation really helps. Also going to nature helps awesome a lot, because nature, when we go to nature, our chakra systems opens and our energy field gets wider, and our energy field, our aura, has psychic senses on the end of it. It's almost like antennas. So it starts to open up more. So if we get information or connections during that time, then we should kind of like write them down and like work with it. So those are like, two ways. Another way is to take a class on it, how to develop your intuition. You can practice on little things, like if you get a ping or somebody texts you, like figure out who's the person, what's the first thing that comes to mind, and that usually you're right. So our spirit comes right, since our aura is so large, our spirit becomes before our mind comes. So our aura field, our spirit picks things up, and then it translates just like an antenna all the way down into our physical body, and then we think of something. So that's why when you have that that feeling, first thing that comes up before your thoughts come up, that's usually your intuition. You just got to learn to listen to it and to honor it more and more.
And do you feel that people have too much trauma sometimes to be able to meditate or even get past that inner trauma before they can open themselves up, or even meditate, or even feel at peace with nature and let their chakras open? Because like some people have so much of trauma that when they open themselves up, all they feel is their own inner pain. So there's a complex. Do you have any suggestions on how to heal like a trauma? Because that's what. That's a really, really excellent question, which I haven't heard people talk about a lot. But it's kind of twofold, because trauma can actually open up your psychic abilities, meaning that let's just say you have a surgery that was really bad, and it was like a horrible feeling, and you're like waking up, like some people wake up during surgeries, or your body jumps out if you're in physical pain, you're in the ER.
Wow.
What happens is that, your spirit jumps out of the body and starts looking at your body, and when your spirit jumps out, there's a separation between the spirit and the physical body.
So like astral projection.
Look around, and you start seeing and hearing and feeling as your spirit would. So a lot of people open up their psychic abilities through trauma. Did you want to say something, Bruce?
No, it's like astral projection, right? With like Yeah,
that's astral projection. It's 100% astral projection. So that can happen through physical abuse. If someone's really beaten really badly, they can pop out of their body. Through sexual abuse, that can happen. These are all traumas.
Wow.
Through car accidents, people can jump out of their bodies before the impact hits. Through using drugs or alcohol. So there's all these different ways that trauma can happen, and that can make people more psychic. So you'll find a lot of intuitives have had that experience with a bad surgery or something. Or I knew a friend who was a psychologist. She was getting into a car and she hit her head, and she became a medium. Like she's now a medium out there, and she does mediumship and psychology. There's a show called, I forgot the name of the show, Both Sides Now. Kelly White is her name. So that can open you up, but so that trauma can actually create that. And then what do you do with it? You do have to heal the trauma. I do soul retrieval, which is based on Native American type of healing. where I bring back aspects of the soul. So if you think of a glass, if you drop a glass, it would break and shatter. And some of the pieces that shatter, it's like a trauma, will go underneath the carpet or go underneath a chair, and you can't find those pieces. So that's aspects of people's soul that go and live in different aspects, different worlds, different places. They kind of live their own life, and that's why sometimes people either seem younger than they are, or people say, hello, are you there? Because they're not really there, or somebody seems like they're disconnected. It's because they've had trauma, and they may be, part of themselves may be living that trauma over and over again in another dimension, another time. So what I do is call back aspects of that trauma and a healing session, and it really helps people to reintegrate that aspect. I can actually talk to that piece, that person, that aspect that left, because that happened to me. I was in a hospital. They almost tried to kill me, and then after I had the hospital experience, I kept seeing myself in the hospital even though I was home. I kept waking up thinking I was in the hospital, and I realized part of myself was in that hospital at the time because it was so traumatic. I almost died, and then I went to the other side and came back. So, and since that happened, that trauma, it's made me more intuitive as to where people have had trauma and how to bring it back. Energy healing can help trauma, Reiki, which I do, because what it does is soothe the soul and the physical body and the spirit. So it kind of reintegrates that. Crystals can help heal trauma. There's wonderful crystals like black obsidian or rhodonite or even amethyst. There's a lot of natural ways to heal. Good counselor can heal trauma. There's EMDR. There's other different ways psychologically to do it. A good conversation and bringing back the experience, but having it done and looked at in a different way can heal it. A really good crystal is snakeskin agate. After I almost died in a hospital, it said snakeskin agate is. Yeah, I almost died in a hospital at how old was I? 38.
Oh,
and because they made mistakes. They made a lot of mistakes, and they gave me the wrong medication, and it was kind of like abuse and neglect because they thought I didn't have insurance. It's in my book, Honor Your Spirit. It's funny because I'm a healer.
Horrible.
Like, how does that happen?
Oh my goodness.
Targeted.
That's very scary. Do you have the ability also to speak with spirits, like a spirit guide?
Yes, actually, yes. I can see and hear spirit guides at times, not everyone's, but when I'm in a meditative state, like right now, I just finished a reading, and her spirit guide was right on point with what she needed to hear. So, and after that incident, I started to see people who are dead. Wow. And they came to me and said, I died in this hospital, help me. And I'm like, who are these people? They're all in my hospital. There are all these, 20 people in my hospital room. And I realized it was all these souls who had died, and they wanted me to file a report. I'm like, what? I couldn't even believe. They looked real to me.
You're like a detective to them.
What's that?
You're like a detective. They want you to get on the case.
Yeah, and then they said, oh my God, they're like, oh, she's awake. And then I actually did file a report because I think God put me there because I worked in a hospital, so I knew everything they did wrong. Oh. And I knew the abuse that they were going on, so I was almost set up by the universe to be there. But, sometimes I see people's spirit, and especially when in readings, since that happened, other things have happened, their ancestors will come through because the ancestors want to heal the next generation. And either they'll come back and say something, or somebody, an ascended master may come. If people are a healer, like Archangel Raphael will show up. So I'm open to the spiritual realm and the subtle energies that come through that want it, because the other people in the other realms, the other spirits, the entities, they want us to evolve. They want us to move forward. They want us to heal. So they'll come through me as I open myself up as a channel to that kind of information.
That's crazy. It's almost like the movie Ghost, how she sees the spirits that come into her and they're not leaving her alone.
So what?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was kind of like that. It happened to me originally when I was 27, where they would literally just wake me up all the time. When I first opened up, which I wasn't expecting, it just happened, and it was just all the time. Like every time I went to sleep, when I wake up, I would see someone staring at me or sitting there having therapy in the middle of the night, and I was just going crazy. And I called my mother, who was a medium. She didn't do it for a living, but she'd always talk about seeing relatives and ascended people. She said, "Oh, that's it. Oh, no, that's no problem. How are you doing in school?" I'm like, "Mom, I'm being like, I'm being like attacked by these ghosts." And she just laughed. She was to tell them to go away. So I went to a healer, and they showed me how to protect myself.
Yeah,
so
you have to
they only
protect
come in
yourself.
now when I have a gatekeeper, when I'm, like, open to doing a reading. I've learned how to block the energy and to be, like, in the present. But, yeah, I could, see and hear. And every once in a while, like, I'll see when in my office or something will move in my room, and it's interesting.
Freaky.
Yeah.
So how did you learn how psychic protection? Like what protection in particular did you, incorporate into your meditation or the way you see things?
It's breaking up a little bit. Something about psychic detective?
Psychic protection.
Protection. How do you protect yourself? To protect yourself, if you're really open, is you usually call in the highest energy there is, and the highest on the planet, which is the Christ energy, or some people believe in Buddha and call him Buddha. And what that does is put energy around you of a high vibration. Their lights are so bright that anything that has not gone to the light, and a lot of ghosts are stuck here because they're afraid to go to the light because they feel like they've done something, or they're ashamed, or they haven't lived their life right. So they hide out on the earth plane. They don't evolve, pop out of the body. They don't go to the higher dimensions.
They don't go to the ethereal plane,
they're
right?
Afraid. Yeah. So these ghosts are like, to me, they're like homeless people. They're just kind of stuck here. So I was told to put the archangels around me, and that really puts up a shield of light too, like almost a cross. So I put Archangel Michael to the right, Miguel to the right, Raphael to the left, Gabriel behind, and Uriel in front. And it makes a cross of light, and the light is so bright that it's almost like putting on the light when there's roaches. Like the other ghosts will scatter away, so they'll stay away from that light because they know that those beings can see them. So that's what I was taught to do. Or if, like, I get psychically attacked, which happens often if I go to a hotel and I don't put a protection, I might see somebody that, because my home is protected and my office is protected, but you just randomly out in the world, especially hotels, you get like a lot of people who leave discard energy. Hotels are like the worst. I'll say that, and then they'll go away, or I'll sage. Saging is good too, smudging. Mm-hmm.
And so you mentioned also the Native American influence. What do you do? Some kind of a chant, or is there some kind of a an entity or deity that you need to contact particularly, or something that you incorporate into the healing?
The soul retrieval is kind of a Native American type of healing, bringing back aspects of the soul, or more indigenous. So that's the aspect that I use, or dream catchers. But so I'll do my own version of a soul retrieval. Like, I don't beat the drum where people do and go down to the inner earth. I'll go up to the higher realm to get those aspects of the soul. So, and just call it in. But that's kind of the things I use. I love like sweat lodges, and I use a lot of smudging with wheatgrass or sweetgrass, and sage, and using a lot of those aspects, and also looking at the different aspects of what they use in terms of crystals. A lot of Native Americans call crystals the stone people, and they have wise wisdom. I spent a little time, like a summer, in a Navajo reservation in Tuba City, and I learned a lot there, even though we're just living with the people. Like, a friend of mine was a doctor there. So I use a little bit of those aspects, and also connecting to totem animals, which is a wonderful
right.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you that. Yeah, the totems. Mm-hmm. So which totems do you find are the most healing totems to incorporate?
A lot of times, whenever it's very weird. Like, I see a lot of crows, of course, and ravens. I just saw a raven the other day. But whenever I do, like, indigenous healing, like I went to a Peruvian healer, and then I went to a Mexican healer. Whenever I do those kind of healings, I always see a panther. A black panther comes in my dream, and it's massive, and it's very real. It's like a being. And I was just like, that is so bizarre. And
it's jaguar paw.
Say it again?
It's jaguar paw from Apocalypto.
Yeah, someone just told me that today. My acupuncturist assistant, who's Mexican, she goes, that's jaguar paw. So, yeah, and it's so real. I mean, this black panther is just, like, licking me and talking to me. And it scared the hell out of me because it felt real. It was at my car, it was at my home, it was all these different places. So I feel like that's definitely my, totem animal per se. But whenever I ask the universe, what's my next thing? What should I do? And, I'll see a hummingbird, or I'll see a big, a big, totem animal, different things. Sometimes I'll see cats or dogs or hawks, big ones. And whenever the animal comes in, I know I have to follow their medicine. One time I was trying to bring in spirituality and mental health, and I kept seeing opossums everywhere. I saw 3 or 4 of them. I went to the city, and I knew that was the medicine of playing dead until it's safe to come out. Oh. And I played dead until the time was right, and then I talked about spirituality. I talked about smudging clients after they did their walk. And it was accepted because one of the women was into yoga and the other one was into meditating. So it was like when I see these animals, they're leading me on my path to evolution. So I honor all spirit animals that come.
Absolutely.
I love my panther.
Hey, that's so cool. Do you ever see visions of like the end of times, kind of like Nostradamus kind of visions?
I don't see those. I have 2 clients that do. I've been seeing, they're bus drivers, ironically,
wow.
And they constantly have visions of, like, destruction and also being on other planets. I think I had it once. Whenever I've used rainbow obsidian, I get a lot of, whenever I, like hold it or go to sleep with it, I get a lot of weird dreams about end of times, but it's not always the thing. It scared me so much I never held it again. Rainbow obsidian.
Right,
Rainbow obsidian.
Maybe you were watching CNN.
Did you ever try taking...
Maybe you were watching CNN a little bit too much. That's why we were watching the end times on the TV.
Oh, really? Yeah, that could be. Sometimes I wonder that. Especially I listen to Coast to Coast and I fall asleep. And sometimes I think like it's incorporated in my dreams.
I hear you.
Do you ever wake up? Do you ever wake up on your rocks, on your crystals, and say, "Why I'm having such a hard dream, it's such a hard time sleeping"?
Yes, yeah. Sometimes crystals can really help. The snakeskin agate really helped me to remove that trauma from the hospital. It literally took off my old skin and put it in a new skin, and it replayed the dream to something more positive. So these crystals have become really alive, and it's almost like I had them for years, but all of a sudden now I know which ones to pick, and they help me with certain aspects, and I've seen their healing abilities. It's amazing.
We make crystal jewelry, actually, Bruce and I.
Oh,
yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah, and I wire wrap, like bigger than the normal stuff that you usually see. I do big chunky rings. I use natural gemstones for healing, and I combine them for different tones and resonance and. From pendants, huge pendants, sometimes shamanic, and some rings, and we've made earrings, and all kinds of, and also, what my suggestion is to look into the Crystal Bible. It's I don't know if you've ever heard of that book. That there's like 2 of them. Yeah, there's a lot of really weird stones that are incredible. That I found that are useful. I mean, there was this one stone, agrolite, for example, that was like such a weird stone that was helping me write, for example. It's a strange stone that I never would think about, ordinarily. So, but
Native Americans call them stone people. I think they really have consciousness. I'm just believing that. I actually burned my hand. I know what to do, and it was like the pain was like an 8 out of 10. And when I put it on ice, it felt better. But when I took it off, it just felt like it was burning alive. And I was going to go to the ER. And I looked up in the book, what should I use? And it said that for burn sodalite. And I had a raw piece of sodalite. And I said, I'm just so desperate because it was really hurting. And ice wasn't helping. So I couldn't go to sleep because the pain was so intense. So I finally said, well, let me just put my hand on it and I'll just rest. And I fell asleep. The next day, maybe the pain was like a 9 out of 10. The next day it was down to a 2 out of 10. It's like the sodalite absorbed. The sodalite is good for burns. I cannot believe it.
And shungite. Shungite is amazing for burns, and selenite. Those two. If you take a selenite, a shungite, and a Herkimer diamond, and you kind of keep that near your pain, you'll have even expedited. So sodalite I didn't know about, but I'm sure that it has a lot of it's great for your throat chakra. I know that, but but those 3 stones are probably the strongest healing stones between the carbon elements. That'll automatically start. If you soak it, if you can't soak it, you just put it around it. Yeah.
That's great to know. I have to look those up. Yeah, I love that you can do it with. I actually have experiments where I had the results of the sodalite or the snakeskin agate or the amethyst. Actually see them help me heal. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Right. Are you still giving lectures and going to the Conscious Life Expo? Because I believe I met you there once.
Yes. Yeah, I do. I've gone every year almost. I've been on the speaking. I think I was on the spiritual healing panel last year, and I talk about honoring your spirit. I go there pretty regularly. I went to the Portal Ascension Conference, so I wasn't speaking, and I'm speaking at this small arts fair in 10:30. It's in La Crescenta, and I'm speaking about how to work with the universe. I do a lot of that stuff. I feel like Spirit has guided me to go out and speak about the Holy Ghost and the Holy Spirit, and opening up your senses, working with crystals, opening up your divine path, your purpose, and dialoguing with the universe.
It's almost like a language, right? It's almost like the universe has its own language, and it speaks to you. And you could be driving down the street, and then there's a sign there, and you feel like it's right that moment the universe is speaking to you. What are some reasons that people go see psychics? They may be having problems in their marriage, or they want to seek answers. I mean, they all feel like the universe is leading them there, right?
Yes, a lot of people feel called. I work really closely with the divine source. So some people feel stuck in life. They've tried everything else and nothing's worked. Mm-hmm. And it might be a soul trauma, like we've said, like a trauma or a soul decision they make, and they know it's like not the normal decision, it's something higher. And people want to evolve their soul, or they feel like stagnant and stuck. They come to get like a higher perspective. A lot of people come in because they have like deep wounds, physical or emotional wounds that are not getting better, and connecting to the spirit guides can give you insight. I had a client that came to me that wanted to find her purpose, but as we were looking for it, I was trying to visualize. I saw this guy with a standing in between, like in my office, the healing room and the other room, and he was wearing he was wearing work boots, but he was on a basketball court, and I was like, this is weird. And I told her, she started to cry. She goes, that was my ex. He wanted to marry me.
Oh my God!
But he used to play basketball, but he was a construction worker. That's why he was wearing basketball. So I thought it was weird. He was wearing basketball. He was on a basketball court, but wearing like work boots.
Right.
And I was just like, well, that's so bizarre. Why? Because she was only died 3 days ago. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Wow.
But all these people from the other side came, her mother, who had died when she was 12, and her uncle, and I kept giving them information. They're like coming through this portal. And then later she said, this is so bizarre. I feel so different. I said, okay. She called me back 3 days later. She goes, I tried to find my purpose, but did you know I have a lot of pain in my body, and I have fibromyalgia? And she goes, the pain is completely gone. I'm like, what? And she said, yeah, it's like every time you spoke to one of the ancestors or people, my pain went away. So I have been working. I worked at a pain clinic at UCLA for 6 years, and when I start talking to people that have fibromyalgia, I said, do you have a lot of grief? And they all say yes. So it's almost like the cells are going into shock. But my focus was not to heal fibromyalgia. It really was to help the person find their purpose. And I feel like the cells were literally grieving the pain, and they couldn't hold it, so they just were frozen in pain. But that's what's very interesting. Sometimes you go in with one thing. So she went to a psychic to find her purpose, and she got a healing. So the soul is very powerful and unique, and there's all these different ways that you can heal. And if you can connect to the true soul, the higher, using God force, any psychic you work with should be connected to God or Christ or Buddha at the very least, but God is the highest energy. If not, then they might be reading from ego.
Right.
So
it's kind of like an oxymoron sometimes, It's like you have these people that believe that what you're doing is probably witchcraft or, something, evil, and, they say, oh, it's not of God, some of them, but, it totally is. You're connecting with the inner spirit, the great spirit that's inside of you, that's a part of all of us. We're all a part of this conscious being, all of us.
Yes, 100%. And that being is the one that gave me these gifts, because I was no way looking to be a psychic or an intuitive healer. I was looking to be a social worker, and the ghost started coming to me, and I just didn't understand why. And it was at 27, right before my Saturn return at 28, and I didn't understand. And every time, I grew up, my father was a minister, so I grew up in the church, so I was like, why in the world is this happening? And every time I asked God, if it's not right, just block it, more people would call me, and then more people wanted reading.
I mean, it's right there. Yeah, it's right there in their own scripture that they read. I mean, Jesus technically was a psychic medium also in the story.
Oh, yeah. He
So, I
was
mean, they're a bunch of hypocrites.
Teacher in the Corinthians, who talk a lot about that. And people have the same gift. So, yeah, it definitely is there. I even talked to my dad about it. I said, Dad, these dead people come to me sometimes. And I said, let's look through the Bible. So we kept looking. He goes, well, I really can't find it. Keep doing what you're doing. Because my mother had a dream that my father would have been the first black bishop of Connecticut. Like, she said, I had a dream about it. So she was, somebody told her, it was a medium. And then years later, somebody knocked, he ran, and he became the first black bishop. So, I mean, they've used it in their family to help. And it wasn't like she conjured up. My mother, too, she didn't take any classes. She just was born that way.
Wow.
So I think that's important to honor. That's why my book is called Honor Your Spirit. Like, that was, my spirit was guiding me to that kind of work.
What happens if your mother's a witch and then you're not?
If my mother's a witch?
No, like if she's mean.
Hypothetically speaking.
Hypothetically, what happens if you were an intuitive and your mother was also intuitive but was dark and you weren't? What would you do?
Oh, that's interesting. I had a couple people have come to me that are saying that their parents were doing dark magic. And it was very scary, and they have the same abilities, and sometimes we close them down, or sometimes they wanted to understand them a little bit better. So it's just a matter of really, like getting clear on your higher intentions. And a witch actually means wise one. Do you mean like a witch, or do you mean somebody who was doing something like evil magic or dark magic?
Yeah.
Somebody that's doing something evil.
Yeah, like
like Bruce's mother.
Yes, brave with my mother. You there?
Hello?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah.
That was my mother. My mother's energy.
Oh, I heard something repeat. Did you hear that? I know.
Right?
Somebody else trying to jump in.
His mommy's really
No,
strong.
she's like a Cronus-like energy. Like, she just ate my baby from me. Just took it. You're never gonna see your kid again. If you want to see it, I'm gonna sue you. So I was like, oh, okay, Mom, thanks. Happy Mother's Day. Hello?
Are you serious?
Yes, that's who she's referring to. She was like trying to ask a question, but like on my behalf, like, I guess, my mother, I never was aware that she was practicing witchcraft. I mean, I saw her light candles growing up, and then she got very dark as I got older, and I had a child, and she just kind of ripped my kid from my arms when I was very young and didn't really give me a chance to raise it and put use the legal system in California against me in a way, because I was just so young and naive.
Not that young. You were married already with me. So please.
No, she was working on taking my kid while I was, young, before I met you. Okay. It was all the stepping stone.
She didn't file any process until we were married.
Okay.
And when the first time I ever spoke to Bruce, I was a talk show host too, and I asked him, he had me on his show, and I asked him if his mother was a witch. And he looked at me, he said to me, no. But then after meeting him when he came to my home and we got together, it finally came out that his mother is a hardcore practicing witch. She goes to all in the Polaro, not the Polaro, the Santerias and the
little bodegas where they give them things and maybe
Botanicas.
Wow.
Yeah. Botanicas. She's like one of those ladies that go to them.
Anyway, enough about my mother. Do you feel that when people use the Ouija board, is that like a good way also to have a psychic, or some medium ghost kind of give you answers from beyond? Or I find that when people use it, they start seeing like scary ghosts by their bedside. I had that happen to one of my friends, his sister. She played the Ouija board, and there was like a man sitting at her bed, like a ghost man. They lived right next to the cemetery too, so that probably helped also.
I don't. Yeah, I think I don't really agree with the Ouija board. I think it does open up. It's definitely. I don't know what they did, the Parker brothers. It does open up a portal, and if you don't know what you're doing, you could open yourself up to like darker beings. I believe. Because my assistant, she uses it all the time. She doesn't care, but I don't recommend it.
Right.
Because if you're not open, or if you're connected to like, once you get out of the third realm, the fourth dimension, fifth and up, they're very magnetic. So if you have fear, you're going to attract a fearful entity.
I see.
So if you're fearful about it, then it is. Because I did it with my friends when I was like, in 7th grade.
Yeah.
And the window flew open, all this weird stuff.
Oh my goodness!
Me enough.
That happened to me too
really
at a trailer park. I was with my friends; they lived there, and that was the first time I played it. And I slept over because we used to play music and whatnot. And I was sleeping in this little trailer there, and the dogs started howling. The moon was full, and then boom, the doors flew open as I was sleeping. I literally screamed like a girl. I was like, ah!
Wow.
But isn't it crazy that they let little kids play the Ouija board, and they don't let them have a drink, which alcohol means like body eating spirit, so that's like another way to conjure up a spirit, wine, spirits. But they don't let them drink. They let them play the Ouija board. Crazy.
Yeah, well, they also let them play Grand Theft Auto and all those other really violent games that are like, programming their minds to be violent. So there's a lot of stuff out there that's not great for kids. But I do feel like dark energies love to attach to children because they're innocent. They have that light.
Yeah.
So like that Carolyn, that whole thing in the movie. I mean, that's very, whoever was the consultant on it knew that dark energies love to do that. I believe that God is the strongest, the divine. But there are a lot of, just like there's angry homeless people and crazy homeless people, there's angry ghosts and poltergeists and mean ghosts.
Yeah.
I feel like I can get rid of them, and I've done a couple of clearings. But, yeah, I don't feel like people should open them up without really knowing what they're doing.
Right.
Ouija board is a definite way to open up to darkness, yeah.
I agree. There's a man here where I live, here in Arizona, that just stands in the hot Arizona sun, just staring into oblivion. And it's so creepy. It's almost like he can see another dimension or some type of spirit freaking vortex or something. It freaks me out every time I see him because I know that he sees something that other people don't.
Yeah, everybody knows this
He's
guy.
a real person?
Yes.
He's a real
like a homeless man. He's just out there.
But he comes dressed differently every time. So
Someone's helping him, but he's out in the street, just staring into oblivion during the hot sun. He's just looking at probably the ethereal plane, something else that you don't see. He sees.
Well, there's a great article online. There's a group on Facebook. It's called Shamanic View of Mental Illness, and there's a lot of people in Peru and also in Africa who believe that a lot of I'm not saying all homeless people are schizophrenic, but like the schizophrenics can hear energies, but they're hearing the lower dimensions. And like those people in Peru and other cultures would have been trained as shamans because they are listening to, because the brain of a schizophrenic and the brain of somebody meditating is both in the alpha state. Isn't that interesting? And I've had a lot of schizophrenic clients since I'm a psychotherapist who started to read me and tell me stuff about myself that was accurate. You got to fight with your boyfriend. You did this. And they'll say something really mean at the end. And I'm like, where did that come from? And it's like the dark energy will jump in. So it's very easy to get fooled. And I think that they've had trauma and they're listening to darker energies that sometimes can take them over. So there's different frequencies, of energies, and some hit on the head or trauma or something can open you up to that, like we mentioned before.
That totally happened to me, Carolyn. I was a kid, and I was riding my bike at night, and my mother was inside with my baby sister, and I was riding my bicycle. I just learned to ride my bicycle, and I'm going down this steep little garage we had, and next thing you know, I slammed right into my post box. And, ever since then, I don't know if that attributed to how I maybe inside had a gut feeling of that I had a daughter out there in the world, and intuitively I found her. So I don't know. I was hit in the head, though, when I definitely was.
Yeah, and I was...
Wow, because Mm-hmm.
I was
the
also
pineal gland and pituitary gland are can open up to psychic centers, so I'm not surprised.
I was attacked when I was a school teacher by one of my students. I was dealing with autistic, some crazy kids at one point with art, and she just lost her mind. She grabbed my hair. She was like 300 pounds. She slammed my head to the floor like 14 times. There were 20 people trying to get this beast off me.
Oh my God.
And I was traumatized when I finally, and it took me it got progressive. I had a brain injury, which progressively got worse, and I couldn't speak for like almost 2 years. And then all of a sudden, I did a lot of prayer, meditation, healing, and then I started rapping. I wrote I have 7 albums. I wrote a movie all in rhyme. Everything was. I was literally a fine artist. Then I became a rapper after the words, everything synced up. I had to do it. It was crazy. It was like a weird thing that happened to me. And I also got a little psychic too more.
Wow, head injuries. Yeah, our brain is so powerful. We never know what can be created from that. Absolutely.
Exactly. It's a crazy phenomenon. But Carolyn, your books are available on Amazon, right? The Universe. Speaking of the Universe, and you have another book also.
Yeah, my book tells my story about seeing ghosts and stuff. Is Honor Your Spirit and helps people to open up to their spiritual gifts. And my workbook that goes along with it is How to Work with the Universe, which is very fun. It's like a workbook on how to listen for guides and totem animals and what totem animals you see and listen to your dreams.
Wow.
And then my new book is coming out probably in January. It's Soul Guidance and Daily Inspirations. It's all my newsletters put together.
Amazing.
About that.
So they're available on Amazon, and be sure to check out your website, intuitivesoulhealing.com, right?
Yes. And on Instagram, I'm Intuitive Solutions, like solutions, but SOUL. One word, Intuitive Solutions.
You got it.
Follow me on Instagram too.
Now, before we go, what kind of totem animal did you see when you were talking to us? Did you see anything?
Oh, I didn't. But if I tune in now, I'm seeing an owl.
Ooh, he lives here. Yeah,
a crow and a fox.
Ah.
So
are those good things?
Huh?
Are those good signs?
Yeah. I feel like the owl. Somebody's very wise. I think that's connected to the female. What's your name again?
Ja. Well, Janine Gordon.
And then I'm getting a fox, just inquisitive, that's probably you, and then also a crow, just overseeing the whole thing.
My cat.
You say you live in Arizona, so those are probably popular there.
Right. Okay, well, thank you so much, Carolyn, for being on our program. We look forward to bringing you on as many times as you want to be on. Thank you so much. You were great. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. You guys have a great day.
You too. Thank you so much.
Okay, take care.
Bye. That was Carolyn Coleridge. What a great show. She got to hear all our crazy getting hit in the head stories, huh, Jaja?
Yeah, she got all the...
Now everybody knows that we've been hitting the freaking head. Now they know why we're so nutty and zany, and we can see right through you bastards. That's through you.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
But she explained it. And there's so many issues, with trauma and spirit worlds. I mean, there's no book on it. I mean, how would you...
I feel like I just talked to Madame Blavatsky. This is a spirit world. This is the spirit guides. And as soon as we were talking about the animals, my animal, the mascot of the show, Pat the Talk Show Cat, comes in.
She said crow. She didn't know who the crow was attributed to. And he said, meow. He said, me. He walked in and out as soon as she said, I see another animal.
Pat's always listening, and he loves you all. So we want to thank you for listening. We said we were going to take a break, but we just had some great guests that I couldn't pass up, you know what I mean? And we have even better, legendary... Well, they're not better. Well, you know what I mean. We're getting bigger, better. I mean, every guest I have is the best in the world.
That was amazing.
But we're just gonna get bigger, better, and better with our guests. So they're gonna just be all of them are gonna be amazing.
Well, why don't you just tell them that we have a wonderful guest coming up soon.
Yeah, we got many great guests coming up, and just be sure to tune in. Same Bruce station, same Bruce dial. Jaja here with me, 24/7. My co-host with the most. You've been listening to the Bruce Montalvo Show.
Montalvo Broadcasting Network.